Hello traders, it's your one and only Forex Code Sim Legend, and I'm super excited having you guys here today on this one. Alright, today on this strategy I'll be showing you exactly how to use the Ichimoku indicator and your horizontal lines to be able to catch good entries in the boom and crash market. Alright, but before we proceed, is this your first time on my channel? If so, please hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on so that you'll be the very first person to get notified the moment that I release a new video, because right here in this channel all we post are contents to help traders win in the financial markets. We trade both boom and crash, volatility index, and even the currency pair. And you also want to make sure you join us on Telegram so that you don't miss out a single update or any of my free signals or free trainers that I give online. All right, so without much being said, let's get straight into the strategy. Now with this strategy you can actually scalp the boom and crash market, but before you scalp it, there are certain things that you must first of all consider. You always want to make sure that your Ichimoku line, you have right here, you have the red and the blue Ichimoku moving averages. Okay, you always want to make sure that if you want to sell, okay, you want to make sure that the red Ichimoku is below the blue. Okay, so by the time you're setting up this indicator, you make sure you set it up in the same way that I've set it up, and probably with the same color so you don't get confused. Okay, or you can put the color you desire, but just make sure you get the facts. All right, so you want to make sure that anytime you want to sell, make sure the red Ichimoku is below the blue Ichimoku line. Okay, and if you want to buy, make sure the blue Ichimoku is below the red Ichimoku. That is to say, the red should be above the blue. Okay, and in that way you know that it's actually a good confirmation to sell. But not just that, that's not just your confluence. You always want to make sure you have what we call your horizontal line. Okay, your horizontal line, which is this line. This is the horizontal. Okay, so if you want to sell, now for instance, I have this Ichimoku here. Okay, now I have this horizontal line here. Now you would notice something, that during the time, the era when price was rallying to the upside here, okay, during the era when price was rallying to the upside, okay, and then began after it created this resistance zone and pulled back for a while, it continued and broke out of that resistance zone, as you can see clearly. And then it came back down and broke back into this resistance zone. So as it's here, you notice that your Ichimoku now is kind of like getting confused. There's no proper direction. When there is no proper direction in the markets, the lines would be confusing to you, because it means that there's consolidation around that zone. You don't want to trade a consolidating zone. You want to make sure you trade a trending zone. Like for instance, here was trending, and that's why you can see clearly that the red is above the blue. But when it's like this, you don't know which is which, so you want to make sure you stay out of the market. But what you want to do is you want to focus on that zone that caused that resistance in the market and put your horizontal line straight right there. And your belief is that since price broke out of it, okay, whenever price comes back to it, if price rests on it and begins to rally back to the upside, you want to, before you take the entry, you want to make sure that your Ichimoku line has aligned. That is, it should give you a clear up move like this. That is, you want to make sure that if you're going to buy, the red line should be above the blue, and you want to see it rallying up straight. Like, it should be clear. It has to be clear. Never you trade anything confusing as this. It must be clear. You see, when it's a downtrend, you see how clear it is. The blue is above the red is below. It's very clear and obvious that it's trending down. And the same thing you see when it's going up, is very clear that it's trending up. But when you see it like this, don't trade it. So while you have your horizontal line straight right there, okay, you want to make sure you allow price. So price came back down, created a resistance, and that made you put the horizontal line there. And then when price came back up, all right, it broke out of it, right, and then rallied to the upside. Now after this confusion here, if this price had continued rallying upward, this two Ichimoku line would align again and continue going upward, for you to know that, hey, it's good to sell, to buy along. But you see what happened, it came back down here, broke out of that line again, to let you know that, hey, this is a consolidating area. That is why the Ichimoku became a bit confusing. All right, and then what happened when it got to that resistance again? So this is the real essence of the horizontal line. It's trying to give you a zone. You know what a zone is? A zone is the area where you have to be your place to look out for an entry. Okay, you can also call it your key level. All right, so that's what the horizontal line is doing there, to give you a certain key level, to let you know that hey, you can actually start looking for an entry anywhere around this line. So now when price came back and finally found resistance here, okay, then price started pushing down. Now this is where your Ichimoku line showed a good downtrending move. So all you need to do is to place your entry, set your stop loss, and follow the trade. If it had gone back up against you and hit your stop loss, no problem. Okay, you still wait out to look for a better entry. But that is why it's important to set stop loss. Risk management is the number one thing that you always want to focus in your trading. If you trade, no matter how you trade, no matter how good you are, if you're a trader who don't use risk management, you're not yet qualified to be a good trader. So risk management is always important, okay, because price can always play around and do anything at any time, which you can tell. Okay, so let me show you another example of a confusing state of the trade where you don't want to trade, because it's very important you always note those kind of areas. Now this is another good area where you don't want to trade around. You just want to make sure you allow price to do what it wants to do. Look how confusing this state is. You don't even know where it's going. For you to take an entry like this, you want to make sure you bring out your horizontal line like this, and place your horizontal line. All right, probably you're having this to be your resistance. Okay, so let's say price came here, resisted, went down, broke out of it, broke back into it, went back up, went down, went back up. This is consolidating area, so you don't want to trade because Ichimoku hasn't given a clear direction yet. And then after that, you can see how price was respecting this horizontal line as for resistance, and came down again, resisted. At this time, you're still confused. You don't want to take any entry yet. Now price began rallying down to the downside. The blue line got above the red went below, but yet you're still trying to get proper confirmation if this is really the time to sell. But since you're not sure, price came here, started giving another confusing state again, went back up. The next thing you want to do, put another horizontal line here. Now at this time, you're putting the horizontal line to serve as the lowest low of after this consolidation before this breakout. So it's going to serve as support for all this consolidation during this era. So what you want to do is to see what is price going to do when it gets to that zone. Now you see how price broke out of it, broke in. Your Ichimoku is still confusing, right? So you don't want to take a trade at this time. You must make sure you discipline yourself. Not everything you see you trade. Be careful sometimes, okay? So at this time, you still want to wait, you still want to wait, you still want to wait, because Ichimoku hasn't aligned well. Now this was where Ichimoku finally got a good alignment, and the red went below the blue above, and it was actually selling good before the reversal back to the upside. Okay, but since you're looking for spikes, this is boom 500, so you only want to be buying, isn't it? So for you to only be buying, you always want to wait for when Ichimoku aligns to the upside, and then you buy along. So at this time, it's still kind of a bit confusing. You just want to stay off the chart for now, for the meantime. But here you're going to see what happened when price came around here. It started playing around your horizontal line that you must have put here in the past. Okay, now that's why at this zone is playing around your horizontal lines that you have put there, and then it's trying to get a good balance to buy. Now this was where the real confirmation to buy, if you wanted to catch spikes, this was where it actually came through. And then at this time, you should begin to buy, because you now have a double confluence. Your first confluence is that price is at supports to buy to the upside, and your second confluence now is that your Ichimoku has crossed each other here. You can see here, this was where it crossed. The blue went below, the red above, and it started rallying to the upside. So at this time, you have two good confluences to confidently take your trade all the way from here, even though you entered around here. All right, just make sure your stop loss is on a safe zone, and then you buy all the way to here till this new pullback began again. So in that same manner, you just keep doing the same thing. Here is for the sell, if you wanted to sell. But if it's only spike you want to catch, at this side is a confusing zone. You don't want to do anything around here. You don't want to do anything. What you want to do is to bring out your horizontal line. Don't forget. So you want to put your horizontal line, let's say here. Okay, you want to make sure at least you have a good touch. Okay, so we have touch here, we have touch here to prove that is actually a good resistance zone. So price playing around, resisting, and your Ichimoku not yet confirmed. Then at this time we have the Ichimoku had crossed each other. The red went below, the blue went above, though it's still moving kind of like it's still confusing. If it's still confusing to you, don't force yourself to take the trade. Okay, if it's any time your indicator is confusing to you, don't force yourself. Now, a quick one, are you still here to join the upcoming threesome sniper strategy training? If yes, make sure you go straight to the description below and register to join the community now, because the training is taking place on the 15th and 16th of this month and is coming very soon. So do you want to learn how to use a simple price action strategy and how to be consistent in I'm going to teach you guys how to be consistent in using one simple strategy and how to win with it. So if you want to register and join, make sure you do so before the 15th of this month. Thank you. So you can see is at this time it's aligned, and the blue went above and the red went above and the blue went below, and it bought all the way, came back to your previous horizontal lines that you had before again, played around it, found support, all right, and rallied up. At this time, if you had taken an entry here, price got here and started resisting, you shouldn't exit. Rather, you either use your stop loss and lock your profit, believing that price can continue, so you're still in the market until when you see price playing around again. And that's just how to use this strategy. Very simple. All you need to do is to use your demo, back test it severally, and then once you're confident to take trades with it, you take it. All right, so the main reason why you would see me giving you guys different strategies every single day is for you to know which is good for you, and you take it and practice it and be good at it. Even if you have one strategy that works for you and is giving you money, you keep using it. Okay, so that for you to see me giving you guys simple strategies every single day, it does not mean that you should trade all the strategies. Just look for one or two that you're confident with and use it to trade. So all I just do is to give you guys my ideas, what I see myself try out and it worked, then I give it to you for you to try it out to see if it's also going to work for you. All right, so make sure you hit the like button if you know you love this video, because it encourages me to keep doing more for you guys, and it helps us continue to grow in the community. All right, so for the settings of this strategy, you have your Ichimoku to be 9 for the Tekken Sen and the Jukin Sen to be 26. The circle span B is 52, and the fill, you can leave the fill off or whatever if you want. Okay, now the most important things is the Tekken Sen color should be red and the Jukin Sen should be blue, while every other one should be the color of your background, because you don't want to see it on your chart. Okay, all you just want to see is the red line and the blue line, and after that you're done. So the two things you need here is your horizontal line and your Ichimoku. If you love this video, please smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.